Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this evening's collective live broadcast. You guys hearing me okay out there in internet land? Thank you for tuning in. We're going to give people 30 seconds to get signed in. And for those of you who are already signed in, question for you, if you're brave enough to answer, drop it in the chat. Have you, pen on paper, done your intention setting today? Yes or no? Drop it in the chat window. Who has done their intention setting today? I'm seeing 3 yeses. I'm seeing 4th yes. I'm seeing a no. This is just a reminder, just to check in before we get started. Should we wait another minute? I know there's more people signing in. The number keeps climbing up. Or should we just dive in and get started? All right, let's dive in and get started. So tonight's call topic is titled, "It's not about what you're doing, it's about who you are being." And it's a very short call topic for tonight. We're just going to go over a couple of key things, and then we will jump over to the hot seat. So we're going to have lots of time to play in the hot seat. If you want to come play with me in the hot seat, if you want to come step out of the shadows, maybe works through some resistance, maybe have a breakthrough, no topic is off limit. If you get the impulse, all you have to do is if you're tuned in on the website, there should be a button there that says join Nick in the hot seat right under the screen, or just go to hotseat.nickbro.com in your web browser and click the button, and you'll enter the studio and have an opportunity to come and play. All right, so it's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are being. And I'm going to kick things off by playing 2 audio clips. Now, some of you guys have already heard these audio clips before, but I want to play them one more time, and there's a reason for that. And I'm going to share that afterwards. And these are just 2 30-second clips.
Bro,
here's the first one.
I've never ever felt that it's already done vibes more than I've ever felt than right now. Like, I'm manifesting so much right now because, like, literally, it's like anything is possible and it's already done when we just believe without a doubt. I can't wait to share, man. I'm probably just gonna have to post a video tonight at some point on the collective. But man, we should chat tomorrow. There's some fucking amazing shit's happening right now. I can't wait to share. Oh!
Okay, and here's a second audio.
Dude, so I've been holding that calibration, holding the vibes of just 5 clients in the door and like what that would feel like and the relief and everything for like a week. And I feel like it's been easy to calibrate just because it feels so much better than the shitty feeling I was having before. And I've been like checking in on it throughout the day. And dude, today, random person booked a sales call, and that hasn't happened in like months. Which I think is kind of crazy. But also just wanted to share that and then see what you wanted to do for tomorrow's call. I don't really have anything else to clear.
All right. Some of you have heard those 2 clips before. The reason I wanted to share those clips is to once again reinforce that it is not about what you're doing. It's about who you are being. So far this month, it's been all about calibration. I don't think I've talked so much about a single topic consecutively than I have about calibration this month. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of sick of the topic. But we're going to keep going back to that topic as long as, well, Source guides me to. And of course, if Source is guiding me to that topic, then there's a reason for it. So basically, there's two things that are happening on this topic of calibration. There's we'll call them two categories, two buckets. And most people are falling into one of these two buckets. You're either in, if you've been tuning in for the last 3 weeks here with us. So either you're in bucket number one, which is the bucket where you're noticing a difference in your reality. Things are changing. Reality is shifting. Stuff is showing up. Okay, that's bucket one. How many people here feel like they are a different person now than they were 2 to 3 weeks ago? Drop a yes in the chat. Right? If you feel like you're a different person than you were at the starting of this year, drop a yes in the chat. Okay. That was bucket number one. So some of you guys are finding yourselves in bucket number one where things are changing, things are evolving. And then some of you guys are finding yourselves in bucket number two. And bucket number two is it kind of feels like reality is same old, same old. Things aren't changing a whole lot. It feels like it's more of the same. And if anybody feels like they're in that bucket, maybe drop the word, "Oh, that's me," in the chat window. And what I want to, again, reiterate here is that it's not about what you're doing. It's about who you're being. And when I say it's about who you're being, it's about who you're being vibrationally. In this past 2 weeks, maybe even the last 10 days, I have had at least 8 to 10 coaches / entrepreneurs come to me looking for advice who are struggling in their practices. And this just isn't about coaches being coaches. This applies to everything. It's just a good example. And what I'm seeing in these coaches is they're doing everything right from a marketing standpoint. Their copy is perfect. Their funnels is perfect. On paper, everything that they're doing is perfect, but they're not landing any clients. And the reason for that is they're not calibrating. They're not 5D marketing, right? It doesn't matter how perfect everything you're doing is out here. If you're not properly lined up and calibrated in here, it can't show up. Okay. And I've actually had so many requests about this that next week, next Thursday, I'm doing a free seminar. It'll probably be like a 60 to 90-minute seminar. And the topic of that seminar is 5D marketing. Okay. I'm kind of, not that I'm tired of it, but I've had this conversation with so many people in the last 2 weeks about quantum marketing and 5D marketing and how 3D marketing is not working anymore as we continue to transition into this new paradigm and this new reality. So next Thursday, that's a free seminar. So if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're struggling with your business and whatever it is you're trying to sell, then get on this free seminar and just go to live.nickbro.com/5DM to register for that. Okay. And if Anik or somebody wants to type that in the chat window, go for it. I'll share it over email later tonight or tomorrow too. So again, if your reality is not changing, it's not because of what you're doing or not doing, but it's about what you are calibrating to. Okay. So I've also written down a list of reasons that if your reality is not changing, it could be one of these reasons. So I'm just going to go through these 5 reasons, and then we're going to open up the hot seat and we're going to talk about whatever it is you guys want to talk about. So, reason number one that your reality might not be changing is that you're allowing fear to hold you back or to prevent you from moving forward. And the way you know that this is you is you know what you need to do. You're feeling the impulse of where to go or maybe what action to take. And that action could be something as simple as calibrating, right? It could be as simple as slowing down. It could be as simple as joining the collective membership, right? You're getting the impulse, you know what to do, but you're not taking that step. Okay. That's one way that your reality is not changing. That's one way that you're being held back, possibly. You're not, you know what to do, but you're not moving forward into it. Oftentimes that's due to split energy. Part of you wants something, part of you doesn't because it's afraid of it. And what you want to ask yourself to help bring into conscious awareness what that fear might be is just ask yourself, if I step into that, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I'm seeing people in the chat window. It's not nickbro.com/5dm. It's live.nickbro.com/5dm. Put the live in front of the nickbro. So again, if you want to see if you've got split energy and fear that's holding you back, ask that question. It's not safe to take that step because if I do, see what comes up. And if something comes up for you, then there's a chance you've got split energy to work through there. All right. Makes sense? How many people here feel like they've experienced split energy before that let them hold them back? And out of curiosity, if you've asked yourself that question, what came through for you? Feel free to share in the chat window. Maybe we can work it through in the hot seat tonight if you want. All right. Number two, second reason your reality might not be changing a whole lot. You're externally focused, not internally focused. And your focus on the problem that you're trying to solve externally is calibrating to guess what? It's calibrating you to the problem. Anytime you are actively trying to solve a problem, you're calibrating to the problem. Anytime you're trying to solve lack of clients, you're calibrating to more lack of clients. Every time you are trying to solve the problem of not enough money, you are calibrating to not enough money. Every time you're trying to solve the problem of I can't get a date, guess what you're calibrating to? Not being able to get a date. Right? Super simple, but most people aren't slowing down enough and tuning in enough to become aware of what they're practicing. Right? Third thing I've got on my list of why reality might not be changing for you. You're not being a conscious creator, right? You're not deliberately setting the intent for what you want. You're not deliberately calibrating to what you want. And calibrating can happen in many ways. Calibrating can be sitting down and journaling. Calibrating can be hanging around people who raise your vibration. Right? If you tune into these calls, and especially our Wednesday calls where everybody's live together, and you're connecting with all of these high vibe people, guess what? You're calibrating to the vibration of the collective of all of these high vibe people. Right? It's not complicated, but you got to show up. Reason number 4 that your reality might not be changing a whole lot. You're not grounded. You're not tuning into yourself. You're not listening to yourself. And the reason for that for most people is too much distraction. Too much time on electronics, on your phones. Too much time all out here and not slowing down enough to listen and feel what's going on in here. Right? Because feeling and listening to what you have going on in here tells you what you're calibrating to. It's guiding you to what it is you need to know. Right? So, are you slowing down? Right? Are you slowing down enough to gain the awareness of what it is you're practicing and what it is you got going on? Right? And the last one that I have on my list, and I'm sure there's others, but these were the dominant ones that came up tonight, of why your reality is probably not changing a whole lot, is that if you believe you have a block, that itself is a block. Believing you have a block is a block. Believing your reality is not changing is practicing the vibration of a reality that's not changing. Right? Again, very simple, but it's something a lot of people are practicing. They get into the vibration, they calibrate to same old. So they don't expect new things to come into their reality. And if you're not expecting new things to come into your reality, well, you're a powerful creator. Guess what happens? You get more of the same. Now, none of these things that I listed off tonight, you don't need to be a brain surgeon to understand these things that I just explained. You don't need to have an IQ of the top 1% of people to get this right. The two audio clips I shared earlier, two amazing people, but they don't have Harvard degrees. And they're experiencing this stuff at a really amazing level. And lots of other people in the collective are. Somebody in the House of Multidimensionality call yesterday shared that 2 weeks ago, she set her intent that she wanted to experience what it was like to be a princess. And then she ended up manifesting her way to the most exclusive ball in Austria, which I saw some videos. It looked like something out of a movie. So again, some of you guys might believe this stuff is fictional, but it's not. Enough of you guys have been around to experience some pretty magical things. And the magical wand to these magical things is calibration. Right? And some of you guys are getting a taste of this stuff. We're seeing the posts in the collective Facebook group. Right? Those aren't the only two audio clips I've gotten from people. But again, it all comes down to you. Right? It all comes down to how much time you spend calibrating and playing in the magic. All right, that was my share for today. Let's open up the hot seats. Let's see what it is you guys want to talk about. I'm going to give you guys a second to get loaded up here. And again, no questions are off topic. You want to clear some fears? Let's clear some fears. If you want to share about manifestation, let's talk about manifestation. We've got an entire hour to play. Let's play and have some fun. Don't be shy. I promise we've been doing these hot seats for over 3 years. Nobody's head's exploded. I don't think anybody's ever regretted being in the hot seat. All right, let's start playing with Tina Demarco. How you doing, Tina?
Hi, Nick. I just lost everything So you can see me, right?
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. Just keep right on going.
Okay, good. Because I just lost the 2 questions that I had that I sent to you earlier. Anyway, it's good to be here. It's good to see you. It's good to see everyone that I know. And the 2 questions that I have.
Okay,
One
so
of
hang
them-
on.
What?
Forget
I
about the
sent them to you.
Forget about the
Okay.
questions. Forget about the questions.
Okay.
What comes to mind right now?
So, well, the questions. The question basically is about resistance.
Okay.
So I know I have resistance. I'll say I can feel it, but that might be a lie. I'm not really sure. But there's something inside, and this is weird because I know all about this, and yet it's still happening. So I've got this resistance that it's like free floating, and I want to move into where I want to move into, and I feel good. I'm not looking backward. I'm looking forward, and I'm ready.
Okay. So
But I do have this resistance that keeps.
So Tina, what do you want?
Yes.
What do you want?
I want to have more. I want to feel better.
You want to feel better.
Yeah, I want to feel better. I want more freedom. I want to be,
Perfect.
yada, yada, yada. But
Okay,
the
so
bottom line is I want to feel better.
Okay, so if you tune into you, if you sit back and you relax and you ground and get out of your head for a second.
Yeah.
Does it feel uncomfortable to get out of your head?
No, I can get out of my head almost instantly. I can go, into those other states almost instantly. And this is
Okay.
what really pisses me off because I can do all of that.
So what's the part that pisses you off? I'm curious about that.
Okay, so I sent you 2 questions. One was, there's this resistance, this free floating resistance, but then this other thing is so it's like all of my intuitiveness, my intuitive abilities. I've been in cosmic consciousness. I've done mediumship here, and I've done all of these really cool things here and there, but maybe I'm not practicing the way somebody would be practicing, but it's
I'll be
I would
honest,
like to be more consistent.
I'll be honest, most people aren't. Most people are collecting all of this head knowledge. They know all the chakras. They know how to open the third eye. They know how to check if your chakras are spinning the right way. They know all of the planets and all the synchronicities and all the modalities. But if it's all stuff you know, but not stuff you practice, there's a big difference between the two.
So right. So I can feel it. And it's like I'm not really I don't practice it enough. I don't
Okay.
I want
And
to
if I
say
were to ask
study,
you,
but I mean study in the practice, not study in the book.
if I were to ask
I read
you
them all.
what it is that you are,
See.
if I were to ask you what it is you're not practicing enough, what answer comes through to you?
Being more present than what
Perfect. I love that answer. And that's a question I want everybody on the call to ask themselves. Because you already all know what you need to be doing. So everybody take a second, ground, tune into you, and ask yourself what it is that I need to be doing more of or less of. And see if you get an answer. And if you do, drop it in the chat window. I'm curious to see what those answers are going to be. So Tina, you said for you, it's about being more present.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense because most people are living up here in their minds.
Which I can do that easily enough.
Which is a habit, which is a state of ungroundedness, which is when you're in that state, you're not connected to source and you're not present to receive from source. Remember, we are the bridge between the 3D and the 5D. So if we are not grounded and present energy from 5D doesn't run through us into 3D, and it doesn't impact our reality. It doesn't lead to what that
Right.
energy
So
needs to be doing.
so that's the resistance.
So so I wouldn't call being grounded resistance.
No, I'm
I-
not. No, it's not staying present long enough, or it's not.
and I would
It's not
say,
going. It's not move. You know what it is.
so I would
I
say,
know you do.
I wouldn't call that a lack of resistance. I would call that habit. So I would say for you,
Mhm.
you need to start nurturing and practicing the art of being grounded, right? And being present. Now, if there's a part of you that fears being grounded and present, that would be
Yes.
resistance.
Right. So, okay. So let's take this a little bit further then. So grounded and being present is, how is that then not connected or connected to being fearful of changing a reality or moving up to, say, I'll say the next dimension. I never say that, but the next. So I know when I'm on the next levels and I like it, but I don't stay there long enough. So it's like something, the resistance, the habit. Okay, so you're right. The habit will pull me back down,
And
and it gets very frustrating.
fear also pulls you into that ungrounded state.
Yeah.
So fear
Yeah.
triggers people into fight or flight, which puts you up in your head again, right?
Right. It's fearing the good rather than the negative, though.
Okay, so you have a feeling that the
I'll
good is not.
lose it.
So you have a feeling that the good is not safe.
I would have said no before, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay,
I'm
so
going
if
to
you
say
take a
yes
second,
now.
close your eyes
Okay.
and picture yourself receiving all of that good. All of these things you've been desiring, all of the stuff that you said was next level. And if I said that I could snap my fingers and you could have all of that right here, right now, I want you to ask yourself this question and see what's the first thing that pops in your head that says, it's not safe to have all of this stuff because if I do, what comes up?
It will be taken away from me.
Okay. And that feeling that it'll be taken away, is that an old feeling?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is.
Okay. And if I ask you, at what age did you decide that all good things will be taken away from me? What age comes to mind?
I'm not really sure.
Don't analyze it.
I
It's
don't
not
know.
first thing that comes to mind.
When I was young, when I was young,
Okay. What's the first number
so
that pops in your head? Doesn't even have to make any sense.
6 years old, and I say 6 years old all the time.
Perfect.
6 years old was like the only age I can think of.
Okay. And can you feel the presence of that 6-year-old you who currently exists on a parallel timeline that's just as real as the real version of Tina sitting in her chair right now? Can you allow yourself to feel that 6-year-old's presence?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that 6-year-old would need to hear? If she could hear anything that would help soothe her, what words could be spoken to her?
You're safe.
Okay. And can you hold her hand and let her know that she's safe? And can you let her know that her inner being and source want her to have all good things? And can you let her know that she's a powerful creator and that she's powerful enough to stand in her power? And when she does, nobody can take anything away from her. Can you
Okay,
let her know that?
she knows that, and that's what she's afraid of. She knows, I know that. I know that, she knows that, and that's the fear. Because what happens is there's always someone or something to knock that down. Who do you think you are? Et cetera, et cetera. Frame the question any way you want, but it's a knocking down, or you're really smart, or you don't deserve what you want because no one else around here has that.
And someone who stands strong in their power, where does our power come from?
Inner being, source.
our
And
connection
she
to
knows
source,
that.
the vibration we practice. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So somebody who is standing strong in their connection to source and strong in their vibration, from that vantage point, can anything be taken away?
At 6 years old, you don't know that. So the answer is like a split energy thing. It's like, no, you can't. So the power has never been taken away, but the 6-year-old has never claimed it fully because she's afraid of that power. So
Yep.
it is a split. Yeah.
So, but the truth is that someone who stands strong in their power and their connection to source, nobody can take anything away from them. Can we take a second to acknowledge that that is a universal truth?
That's a universal truth. Yeah.
And can you feel that universal truth?
I know it. I do know it, but that doesn't mean I practice it.
Can you give yourself permission to feel that universal truth? I know without a shadow of a doubt through my connection to source that you have the power, that anybody on this call has the power through their alignment, through that connection, that nobody can take anything away from them. So I want you to allow yourself to feel that. How many people here on this call can feel it? Drop a yes in the chat window. Tina, I want you to allow yourself to feel that. And I want you to picture yourself holding that feeling in your hand. And I want you to picture yourself handing that feeling to your 6-year-old. Hold it out for her so she can calibrate to that universal truth of how truly powerful she is, because she, like everybody else on this call, is divinely part of source, and that can never be taken away.
Right. I know that. I know that the issue, and I'll say it again, because I'm not clear on it. The issue is that the power and the certainty of that power is there, but then circumstances, events, people, things, places will come into that circle and try to, or shame her, or try to take it away, or one thing after another. And it can be difficult to stand in your power when
And that's what we
you're being
came here.
bombarded,
That's what we
especially when
came
you're
here.
young.
That's what we came here for. We
Right.
came here to experience
Oh,
what it feels like to be disconnected from source so that we can reclaim our power as creators.
right. So I agree. I totally, I'm like right there with you. So this is where I'm circling around in circles. So it's like, so that's where the resistance comes in.
Okay. So stop needing to justify anything. Stop needing to justify that the path has to be hard or that
I
things
don't want it. I've
or that
already been, it's already been hard. I'm done with hard. It's like
good.
I'm too old for that.
So these codes of knowingness that we're talking about the power of that connection, all I want you to do is hand those codes over to that 6-year-old. All I want you to do is feel those codes for yourself and feel yourself handing them over to that 6-year-old and
Well,
watch that 6-year-old receive those codes.
When you say codes, can you be a little more specific?
The feeling, the frequency, the knowingness that through your connection to source, that nothing can be taken away from you. Because there's nothing that's external to you.
Mm.
And that 6-year-old doesn't have to logically understand it. Just allow herself to feel it and witness her feeling it through your mind's eye. And allow yourself to sink into that.
Oh.
There we go. funny how our logical mind likes to get in the way, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there's a big smile coming from her heart to my
And
heart.
for those of you on the call, did you guys witness the energy shift? How many people noticed the energy shift that we just saw there? Awesome, Tina. I can't wait to see how the next few weeks are going to unfold for you. That was magical. Thank you for doing that with me.
Thank you. This has been awesome.
All right, let's go talk to Susan Thompson. Let's play with Susan. How you doing, Susan?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good. I am one of those people that at the present time, I'm struggling with seeing my reality shift. And one of the reasons I think it is that I'm having a challenging situation with a family member. And I'm very much in my head about it. And I'm having trouble calibrating. Usually I can calibrate fairly well. I'm working on it. But this is trumping my calibration.
Okay.
So I'm looking for some assistance, perhaps helping me shift that out.
Sure. So
Yes.
the biggest challenge in shifting something is typically when we're trying to shift a circumstance, we're pushing against the circumstance.
Yes.
And as you know, when we push against stuff, it accentuates what it is we're trying to push against. So one of the first ways we want to do is we want to see if we can kind of find a way to soften up the perception of the circumstance, to soften up the pushing against. So if you were to ask yourself what it is that this circumstance is trying to show me about me, what is this circumstance here to help me shift? If you ask yourself that question for you, does anything come to mind?
I'm a little confused on that. Can you just rephrase that?
Sure. Yeah. So everything in reality is happening for us, even the stuff that's unwanted. And the reason Source co-creates unwanted circumstances for us is that contrast is there to show us where we're giving our power away. So these types of circumstances are there for our growth and our evolution. So if you look at this circumstance from that vantage point of this was co-created by Source for my own growth and expansion and learning and my own shifting, what could it be that Source is trying to show me through this contrast? If you ask that question, does anything come to mind?
I think it has a lot to do with love.
Okay.
For me. And I think that would be the main thing.
Okay.
Love and acceptance of another's feelings, points of view. For me, I just would like to see it all just be good.
Good for you or good for them?
So that's the answer to that. Just more, I think it's just a love thing.
Okay. And is there a specific emotion that this circumstance triggers in you?
Yes. Frustration and sadness.
Okay.
Those are the two main things.
Okay. And did you want to work through those emotions on the call?
A few of them, yes. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what emotion would you say is the one that's at the surface, the strongest one that's present? Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And 0 to 10, how strong would you rate that sad feeling?
10.
10. And that sad feeling, first thing that pops in your head, I feel that way because?
I feel that way because I feel that I have failed this person.
I have failed this person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's an interesting statement. Let's play with that.
Okay.
So this person, they're a human being, yes?
Yes.
They have their own unique vibration and attraction point that they practice, yes?
Yes.
So if they're in the vibration of failure, it doesn't matter if you try to help them, I try to help them, Tony Robbins tries to help them, Oprah tries to help them, the Pope tries to help them, Abraham Hicks tries to help them. If they're in the vibration of failure, what's that outcome going to be?
Failure.
And if they're in the vibration of success, whether you try to help them or not, what's their outcome going to be?
Total success.
Absolutely. So this notion that you have failed that person, does that even make sense anymore?
No.
Perfect. Can you give yourself permission to let that belief go?
Yes.
Good. Now that sadness, you said it was a 10. Has that shifted a little bit or is it still a 10?
Oh, no, it has totally shifted. It's probably
Good.
down to a 3 or a 4. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Good. And I just want to take a second to get everybody to notice. Did you guys notice how easy it was to shift the negative emotion with the right probing statements when you know where to look? These big, nasty, negative emotions that we've been carrying for our entire lives, sometimes
Yes.
it literally can take 10 minutes to clear them out when you know where to look. Emotions aren't complicated if you understand how emotions work. Awesome. Okay, so you feel a lot lighter now.
I do.
I can see the energy shift.
Yeah, I feel it.
Good. Now, the only other thing I want to share is for you to practice, and this is a bit of a practice, knowing that this person that's struggling, that they have access to the same connection to source that everybody else here has. And their contrast is co-created with source, who is unconditionally loving, to help them see where they're giving their power away, to help them see where their growth can happen so they can become more of who they're truly meant to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And how does that feel?
It feels great.
Good.
It takes a lot of the feeling of responsibility off of my shoulders.
Totally. And that's a topic that's been coming up with a lot of people that I've been talking to lately too, is a lot of people feeling responsible for family members. And I mean, you know, some people have kids that they need to take care of and stuff like that. But as parents, we still don't override the vibrations of our children. And I'm not saying it's easy because my kids have contrast too. I have a 13-year-old who pierced her nose at school in the women's bathroom last month. So I don't think any type of alignment would have stopped her from doing that. And maybe that's what was in alignment with her, even if I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it's tricky not to let other people, you know, get under our skin. But I think it's part of the human experience, and the human experience wouldn't be beautiful without it.
I tend to agree.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for playing, Susan.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, let's go play with Susan Zisco. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent as always.
I had a whole different question, and Susan's share brought me into something else.
Awesome.
So,
Co-creation at its best.
okay, so let me ask about what came up for me with Susan, because the other one was more from my head anyway. I had a negative situation with somebody who'd been in my life a long time, a friend, and I finally was at a place of feeling like I was being abused, and it was so hurtful that I cut off the relationship. And ever since then, it's always in the back of my mind that, number one, it's a relief that I don't have to deal with the situation, but I also feel like I didn't do that right. Like,
And why do you feel like you didn't do that right? So there's that feeling, right? So you've got a feeling inside of you of I didn't do that right.
Yeah.
And when you ask that question, I feel that way because what's the first thing that pops in your head?
didn't do it right because I could have been more compassionate and caring to her feelings.
Oh, so you're responsible for her feelings?
Obviously not.
Okay.
I know her enough to know that rejecting her would trigger a huge reaction on her part.
So the fact that you're bringing her up on this call is a sign to me that you care about her. And even though she was triggering towards you, and even though you had to set some boundaries between you and her,
Mm-hmm.
that's not an evil or bad thing to do. So unconditional love is something we all want to practice. And the most important person to be unconditionally loving to is, guess who? Ourselves. And oftentimes we compromise ourselves and our well-being for the emotions of others.
Which I did for years and years with her. Years and years, always making excuses for her behavior. And it was hurtful to me.
Absolutely. So don't question whether you did the right or the wrong thing, because it's extremely important and it's healthy to have boundaries with the people that treat us in ways that don't feel good for us.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? Is this bringing on some relief?
Very little.
Okay, so how are you feeling? So what's this bringing up for you?
Well, it's interesting. It's going to sound weird, but a couple
I
of
love
months
weird.
ago, I pulled something in my hamstring, and finally, realized that I have pulled or torn a tendon. And I kept looking it up in the book we have as coaches on metaphysical anatomy and the emotional basis of things that happen in the body and disease. And I kept looking up hamstring and leg and hurt muscle, and I wasn't going anywhere. Yesterday, during our call, right before, I looked up tendinitis. It came to me, just Source sent it to me and said, wait, tendinitis, that's what it is. And as soon as I started reading what it said, I just started sobbing. And it's kind of the same thing as this. It was about allowing people to bully me and step all over me. And I put on this persona of being, all strong and powerful and all that stuff. But, any conflict, I lay down and say, okay, step all over me. And after I released that and cried and felt better, I woke up today and my leg is hardly hurting at all. I mean, it feels like it released the whole thing. And
Awesome.
this is part of that pattern. This woman was a bully to me and mean to me for years and years. And things had gotten better as I tried different things, and she also went into therapy and this and that, and things got better. And then I just snapped when it happened yet again. I was like, that's it, I'm done. So that was protecting me.
Which is a good thing to do.
It doesn't feel like the kind thing to do, like to try to work it out. If I had been less conflict averse, I would have tried to talk to her more or say, please listen, let me tell you why I'm feeling this way. And, but I didn't stand up for myself until, and this is the interesting part, until I said, and I wrote to her and said, I think our friendship is over. The very next email after that, I was able to talk and say to her all the things that I should have been saying for years. She was already done. She said, well, I'm cutting you off anyway. Bye.
And does that sound like somebody who is operating out of alignment with source.
Oh no. No. No.
And
And you know,
you've been in my facilitator training. You're in the House of Multidimensionally right now. You are not the same person that you were 2 years ago.
absolutely not.
Vibrationally, you've elevated so much that somebody like that is no longer a vibrational match to you. And you're no longer a vibrational match to that type of behavior. So it can't stick around.
True. I
And
think
that's not you abandoning that person. That's that person choosing to continue to practice that vibration and that behavior.
Mhm.
Right? They have the chance to work through their shit and allow themselves to elevate in the same way anybody else does. Right?
Mhm. And she has, but not
And
toward me.
the most important thing that I want you to see is that by you establishing boundaries, that does not make you a bad person.
Wow. Okay. That just brought up the whole thing of watching my mother never have boundaries or stand up for herself.
And this is your opportunity to heal that, not only for yourself, but for her.
And thank you, because part of what was making me hang on to this is this person, she was like a sister to me. She's like an auntie to my daughter, and they're very much in touch, and they live close. I'm all the way across the country from them. And I kept thinking, oh, but she's still close with my daughter and this and that. But for my daughter to see me setting a boundary is also a wonderful role model.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
So Sue,
Awesome.
I am incredibly proud of you. Your inner being, I know, is incredibly proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep walking the walk that you're walking. And you can still love this person unconditionally. Just do it from the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much from my heart.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Keep
Thank
up
you.
the good work you're doing. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you.
All right, let's go talk to Claudia. Hey, Claudia, how you doing?
Hi, hello. I can see me. Can you see me?
Yeah, you're all good. I can see you.
I lost everything. Okay. So, hi, Nick. It's been so long. I don't know if you remember me. Friend of Melanie. I'm so happy to be here. So my question is about, I want to let go of the attachment I think that I have to someone. The thing is that I've had wonderful changing events in my life since the end of last year, a lot of growth, amazing. And I attracted a wonderful, conscious, aware man. We have a special connection. He's also into this doing energy work. He helps a lot of people with that. The thing is that it's clear I'm not one of his priorities, nor to have a relationship, what I feel from that. But we meet, we are kind of dating. We have a beautiful time together, but he's not as present as I would like. And when something happens that I don't like, I get out of alignment, and then I do that energy work. I do like Abraham, all these teachers work. I get in alignment, embody my goddess, feel my goddess, and then he's back. Like, it's happened like 6 times. I'm in Miami now, but Nick, I'm exhausted. I want it to be easy. The last time on Sunday, he was so tired because he also does, he's a teacher of like psychedelics as well, and he was tired because of that, whatever. But he drove me home the second time, like, yeah, kiss, bye. And I just realized, okay, I know that I deserve someone that is more present, although he's a wonderful person. And I chose to enjoy this, and at the same time maybe be open, but I can't because I have feelings for him. So
Okay.
how can I let go? I realized why I attracted him. Like I still had vibrating some that I'm maybe not worthy of having something amazing that I know that I do, or like maybe fear of someone so that I thought it was so amazing,
Sure.
that what if it goes wrong, etc. So I just want to
Okay,
let
so
go.
let's explore that a little bit. So would you like to dig a little deeper and find out what the root cause is?
Yes,
Okay.
let's go deep.
So let's do a little bit of probing. So
Okay.
this relationship, if you look at the contrast in your relationship with this man,
Mhm.
what's the most prominent emotion that comes up? Is it feeling abandoned? Is it feeling like you're not good enough? Because I remember you said he felt like he wasn't there for you.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, not present, like not loved as I would like to be, even though we're just dating. This is nothing, like we care about
Yeah.
each other. But yeah, the feeling was, I think it was like sadness. And
Okay, so this person, he makes me feel, what's the negative emotion?
disappointed, not love, not taken.
What about unlovable?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it's in my list of the CBT. I did the CBT questions because I'm learning this course, and I did it on unlovable. Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And have you had very many significant relationships before him?
Yeah, I had a couple. Yes, I
Okay.
had significant relationships before him.
Okay.
And there was a
How
pattern.
about, can we look at the most recent 3 really quick?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to go to the most recent one before this guy.
Yeah. The
And if you to identify the contrast in that relationship, what emotion would surface from that relationship?
that was anxiety, because this one loved me so much. This was like a big mirroring. It was something amazing, but we couldn't be together because he was working in himself. He had some issues, traumatic experience, anxiety, whatever. Oh my God.
Yep.
But that wasn't, like, yes, like waiting, like I'm
So
doing
the
now.
same. So do you
Waiting.
see this? Do you see how it's the same person, the
Yes,
same
pattern.
energy of him not being there for you?
Yes, yes,
Right?
I do.
Okay. And would you say it also triggered that unlovable feeling?
In that case, I knew that he loved me. It's not that I didn't feel love from him,
Yep.
but yes, it was like he was not present anyway, so I didn't feel taken,
Perfect.
treated
Okay.
as I would like to be treated.
Not a
Yeah.
priority.
Not at all, no.
Okay. And if you go to the relationship before that one and ask the same
Oh my
question,
God, that one, yes, like it was, yes, the
same
same.
thing?
The completely different person. I was a completely different person back then. But yes, it was still, I still carried some of that vibration, because it was
Perfect.
not a strong connection, but it was like I did the work to live my life without caring. But the feeling was like, that he was like, I was not a priority at all.
Perfect.
He was
And if you go
worried.
so just to point out, so we've looked at all these relationships and it's the same pattern over and over again, right?
Yes, those ones up to
And
one.
now if we go all the way back to childhood, can you think of a way in childhood where you felt like you were not a priority?
A priority. Well, maybe at school, can be that, at school when I was not. The thing is that for my mom, for example, I was a priority. But on the other side, she could say something like, she's the best mom, but she could say things like, you are the worst, you are like, I remember she didn't mean that, but she was like saying, nobody will ever love you. She's the best woman in the world, really. But she said that. And I already forgave her. I did all the, all the work, family constellations.
Okay.
But she said that, and at school I didn't feel a priority because like I took that by protective whatever vibration to there, and I didn't feel a priority with other kids, you know, like that they, for example, like they didn't pick me for sports, like, but I had my friends, you know, but there was some of that there as well. Yes.
So do you see how this energy just, it's the cycle, it's the pattern, right? So if I were to ask you, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to see what number pops in your head. This isn't about analyzing or figuring it out. It's just to see what's gonna come up. When I ask you, at what age did you decide that nobody will ever love you? First number that pops in your head.
Oh, I know. That came in my paper as well. Maybe 17. The first love, you know, like that he had to break up with me. Yeah, that came into my CBT questions as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
Good.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is close your eyes, and I want to picture that 17-year-old sitting next to you. And I want you to tell that 17-year-old what it is she needs to hear. Let her know that source would never create a human being that is not lovable.
Yeah.
That just the sheer fact that she exists is evidence that she is lovable, because source, who is unconditionally loving and infinitely intelligent, would never ever create an unlovable human being.
Yeah.
Can you feel the words that I just said?
Yes.
And
truth.
can you picture yourself holding the energy of those words and handing that to her?
Yes.
And do you feel her receiving it?
Yeah. She's worthy of receiving. Yeah.
And does she feel it?
Yes.
Good. And how does she look now when you see her through your third eye?
Secure, worthy, in love, loved. Yeah.
Excellent. And can you give her permission to go out and give love?
Yes, I give her permission to do that.
And give her permission to go out and to receive love.
I give her permission to go out and receive love.
Excellent. And how does she feel now?
Amazing.
And how do you feel now?
Amazing. Yeah,
Excellent.
that was good. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So send me an update in the next couple of weeks and let me know how it goes with this guy.
I will. I just wanted to let go, but like, yeah. Any advice? What should I do? Like, I don't text anything, right? I know that
There's nothing you need to do other than go out and share love and let love in. That's it.
Yeah.
And know your worthiness.
Yes. From that energy, like I can do anything, right? Like it doesn't matter who texts. I don't like that strategies, you know.
It's not about strategies. The strategies don't matter.
Because
it's the vibration you practice that matters.
Yeah. The thing is that all, like some friends that are also healers, conscious aware, like when she tells me, no, Claudia, like you don't text him. You are a goddess. Let him come to you.
No. Not all conscious healers are as conscious as they think they are.
Yeah,
not to discount your friends or anybody, right?
Yeah.
But trust your own inner guidance.
Yes.
If your own inner guidance says send a text, send a text.
Yeah, indeed.
Don't give your power away. People have to stop giving their power away to other people and other healers and tune into their own power.
And to him as well, I gave him my power in a moment because my happiness depended on what he was doing or not. And that's in me, you know. Yeah, wow, this was so good.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nick. Wow.
Awesome. And thank you for showing up, and thanks for playing, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
let's
you
go
so
talk
much.
to Neil. Are you kicking around, Neil? I see a black screen. I'm not sure if Neil is there. Oh, I guess Neil is snoring. All right, let's remove Neil. And let's go talk to Hava. Hava's awake. How you doing, Hava? I know Neil is in the UK, so I know it's past 1 a.m. for him. But that's the first time ever we come across somebody sleeping on a call. How you doing,
Hi.
Hava?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Really inspired by every question, and I wasn't expecting to be here, so I'm really excited.
Good. Aren't our collective members and community amazing people? Isn't this a good, amazing bunch of human beings? I love this.
For
What do you
sure.
What do you want to talk
Everybody's
about?
really open. Okay, what I've like at first, before this call, I was reflecting on the same topics you were talking, so that was a cool synchronicity about change and like I'm so interested in new things, but at the same time I love my comfort. So it's like where like am I self-sabotaging or not? That was a question I had. But now that I heard every question here, I felt like I have something like an emotion in my solar plexus, I guess I want to say, where I feel like that is something that I would love to have a breakthrough maybe on.
Sure. So that feeling in your solar plexus,
Yeah.
does it feel like it's tied to a fear or an emotion? Can you tell what that is?
To an emotion, not fear.
Okay.
I did a little clearing on it, but it's still not gone. It's not good enough. I thought it was that, but I think it's um, feeling not important enough or
Okay.
not having a power of influence. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. So if you tune into that feeling, and if I say, is it the feeling that you're not important? Does that feel accurate?
Yeah, almost.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that feeling of unimportance, 0 to 10, how strong would you say it is?
When I think of something I'm having a hard time of letting go of, it's a 9.
So when you tune into that feeling that's right there,
Yeah,
0 to 10, how strongly do you feel that feeling?
8, 9.
Perfect. And what's the first thing that pops in your head when I say, I feel that way because
Nobody knows me.
nobody knows you? Perfect. Okay. So I remember you came on the Twitter Spaces call 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and we had a beautiful conversation. And I
Cool.
remember you from that conversation.
And that's cool. But honestly, I felt like really, I'm going to be fully honest about this, which I'm not most of the time when it comes to this, but I didn't feel like a relief. I felt more like, oh man, should I do that? Like, why were I there? Like almost, I
You
don't know. It just felt off to me.
That's okay. So you were there to be part of a beautiful co-creative conversation. Okay. And the reason that I'm highlighting that you were there and that I remember you being there is because a second ago you said, I've got this feeling that nobody knows you.
Yes.
But I remembered who you are. So I know you.
I guess I'm afraid of like being a part of something and at the same time wanting to be known, but like being afraid of being a part of something and allow myself to believe that that can be real and it will not be like something I make up in my mind.
So right now you're part of this beautiful call with 70 some people, a beautiful conversation. I see you posting in the collective community. To me, that's a sign that you're part of something. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I left the Facebook group, by the way, because that's what I do. Like that's one of
Okay.
the
So let me ask you this question. If you were to stick around in the Facebook group and engage and interact and come play with me on this call every once in a while, does that feel unsafe in any way?
for sure, like
Okay.
100%.
And it's not safe to stick around and play with all these beautiful people, because if I do,
Like I will lose myself
I will lose myself. And in what way would you lose yourself?
because I feel like I can't control the perception of people of me, and I absorb really well. So it's like I take in, but I give less, and it feels like at some point I have to leave for new experiences, or to feel like, okay, I can come and go whenever I want.
Okay. And
Something
there's
like
lots of people who can come and go whenever they want, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with coming and going whenever people want, right? I think that's a beautiful thing. I think people should come and go more often and experience more.
that. Somehow I
So
feel guilty about that.
you feel guilty about that?
Yeah,
And why would you feel guilty about that?
because it feels like I'm entitled to some behavior. That's how I feel like everywhere. Like how can like I feel like it's, yeah, almost as if I'm feeling like not respecting or something.
Okay. So there's a part of you who's your inner critic or whatever you want to call it is saying, "Oh, by coming and going how you please, then you're being disrespectful to other people," something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you come over to this side and step into source, if you see this through the eyes of source, what would source think about you flowing with what feels right for you?
Probably it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. There are 7 or maybe 8 billion people on the planet. Wouldn't you agree that every single person on this planet has their own flow of what's right for them?
Yes.
And flowing in the way that you are designed to flow is how source wants you to flow. It's how I want you to flow, because that's the authenticity of who you really are. And that's what I want for people. I want
And
you to do you.
yes, and I appreciate that. But it's honestly that feels good because you say that. But it's like I'm done like waiting for people to tell me that it's okay to do that, and at the same time I can't give myself the permission to just be like that. Like I'm
Why not?
still hoping, like not even hoping, but I do appreciate it when you say that, and it does feel safer. And I wish that I could feel like safe, independent from like you saying that.
And do you believe source would say the same thing that I'm saying?
Yes, it's just that I don't trust it.
And that's
Like,
okay,
yeah.
right? And
Yes.
that's the beauty of physical reality, is that physical reality is just one big exploration, right?
Mhm.
And we get to choose how we want to play in this exploration. And the important thing that I want you to realize in this segment is I want you to realize that you have the power to choose. You have the power to choose how you want your flow to look. And you also have the power to choose how you want to feel based on what flow you choose. And part of your journey right now may be the exploration of that. It might be the exploration, all of the contrasts that we experience, it's there to help bring us into our power, right? So there's not a single person on this call that doesn't have some type of contrast, because everybody is here for more empowerment. And when I say here, I don't just mean on this call and in the collective, but in physical reality.
Yeah.
right? So if this is a theme of exploration for you, that's a beautiful thing. And I think part of the awareness that you're working into, whether you get all the way there right now or not, is the awareness that you always have a choice in the actions you want to take, and a choice in the way you want to feel about those actions. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So play with that. And I would invite you to come back and play in the collective as much as you would possibly like, because we love having your presence and your energy around.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hava.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye.
All right, let's bring Papi on, because Papi's busy having a dance party here. How you doing, Papi? I see you dancing in the background.
You can see me, right?
I can see people who are backstage.
Just having such a good time here, man. I'm like, it's been a roller coaster. This one has been like, whew,
this has been a fantastic call. I love everybody that's had the courage to come play. There's so much in, it's not just the Wednesday calls. The Wednesday calls are great. They're the best call. But in these calls too, even though we don't see everybody on screen and don't engage with everybody, there's still so much magic. All right, what's your share, Papi?
Okay, so I'm like, whew, my heart is racing right now. Okay, so I just need to share every single person that came on this time. It was like a building compounding effect of how aligned I feel right now. So like it started with like the first person being taken from, and that we can't be taken from, and that at 6 years old. And so every single thing that was spoken about today is in complete alignment with my current reality and story of what's occurring. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come up and speak if I get the opportunity, but I'm like, I could just shut the fuck up and just like keep learning and keep understanding more about myself by just being here, because we're literally just reflecting each other all the time.
And it's not even just about what's going on in here, right? You guys are downloading so many codes, you don't even know it.
I don't even, yeah, no, man. I'm
It's
just like,
some of you guys might wonder why it is that after these calls, you can't sleep and your body's buzzing. Like I've heard so many stories of people, the way they feel after these calls. And it's not just because we're feeding information into your brain. It's because we're literally a community that is attuned to the connection and the vibration of source. And we're all interconnected with each other through these calls. And it creates this compounding momentum that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, man. I love listening to you speak, but I love when we get an opportunity to speak together, because I find like I can share of my experience. A lot of the time I'm not like, hey Nick, can like you help me with this? Like, because I'm just integrating and downloading and getting so much help like all the time through every single experience that that's occurring all the time, right? And today I actually am experiencing my first maybe ask, and so there was 5 people that shared, but I just have to say, Hava, you are the most authentic person that I've experienced in this collective so far. I just want to let you know that like everything you literally say was in like such a deep reflection of experience that I've had of like showing up or not showing up, or taking on energy, or feeling sometimes scared of like being my complete self because of, it might be too much for people, or, if I show up, because I really feel the energy of places and of communities and the people that I'm connected with. I'm becoming more selective of who I connect with in person because of that. Right. But that's my choice. Right. So I just wanted to be reassuring of that. Like, it was really, spirit was just like, let this girl know, like, she is so fucking authentic.
And she's got a very beautiful grounded presence to her. Like a very solid grounded presence.
To be able to express vulnerability, but like actually do it in this like very clear, very like, present way is like powerful, very powerful. So first share, being taken from. Second share, shifting family challenge. I'm going up like against some contrast deeply in my life right now in my home. And it's in reference to someone that's living in my home. And there was a traumatic experience that happened when I was quite young. I'm not going to go into details about it because I haven't really gone into details with anybody really about it yet. But they are in my home. I've got to the point in my life where I've been able to heal enough and they've been able to heal enough, and the contrast is lightened up enough that we can be within vicinity of each other, and which is powerful in itself. I never thought it was possible up until like a couple months ago. And recently, over the past couple of days, it's like I feel like I could smack this person upside the head a lot, you know, like you're in my house. I can't believe I haven't punched you out, you know? And like I'm saying this like
in a very loving and
in the most loving way. Like I just like I kiss you, you know? And so anyways, like, and this isn't, you know, my girlfriend or anything like that, guys. Like I'm just like, okay, guys. Danny's here, she's my partner. I don't beat her up, I swear. Only if she asks for it. I'm just joking, guys. You told me to be myself, Nick. Here I am. Okay, so I'm asking like my experience the past 2 days, like allowing absence when like 2 days ago, like it was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna throw this person out of my house, you know? And it was like, and then the storm came and I was like shoveling, and I was like, my dog was outside and I was like, oh, shoveling. And like my dog like goes and gets into a fight with another dog. And I'm like, right away, I'm like, whoa, dude, like you need to chill out. Like what's happening around you right now is like, this is a reflection of your energy, right? And like, you know, the universe is giving you the opportunity to learn something even deeper about yourself. But that came in even more with what your share was earlier.
And that's a very powerful thing to do, is when you have the conscious awareness to look at your contrast and say, okay, what is the deeper awareness that this contrast is here to show me about me? Awesome. Thanks for highlighting that. Keep going.
Yeah. So Nick, tell me what it is. I need your help, Nick. I'm just saying that because like I've said, I think the last chat that we had, I think it was the integration one on Wednesday. I was like, guys, like we are the ones that heal ourselves. And like I love you guys all, but like you all, like I'm saying you all, like we all need to step the fuck up and do the work ourselves. And I mean, I don't mean like do the work like you're a worker and you have to be a slave and that type of shit to like eat and, you know, get the money. It's just like, no, like the self-cultivation, the showing up for yourself.
What you're saying is it's not about jumping into effort. It's about making the inner work the priority.
Yeah, because the other work that we talk about is actually so much effort, and it's like the smashing your head up against the wall and like, where are you trying to go in your life? Like, and so I say that like in a loving way, because I appreciate, Nick, how like you're very direct, but I know you like as a brother, like you're a very loving person. People experience that, right? But I love that directness, and it's just like, guys, doing the work is like, please subscribe, show up on Wednesdays, come to our integrations because they're amazing. And then like, hey, it's $100. It's like, I'll sell it, but I'm not selling it. I'm like, guys, like come and be a part of the Wednesday integrations, because it might be actually doing the work to put out $100 a month to like be a part of like doing the work, right? Actually integrating it, right? But so the ask is, I have to have like a really like what's feeling like a very difficult conversation. And lately, like conversations haven't been hard for me. It's been like letting go, ease, like, okay, like creators guiding, like, and this is bringing something up deep in me, because this individual has caused a lot of pain and trauma in my life. And I mean, I'm a spirit body, like I'm a spirit manifests as a body, and I have karma, and no one causes anything to me, but the experience of them has like been like the dark teacher of my life, right? So I'm like, I have to have this conversation. And it's like, up until this point, the conversation was this like, it's this or the fucking highway. But I know the highway will hurt everyone, right? Like, it's just like, that's not the right way. So I'm like, yeah, I'm having a hard time approaching like having a really, really difficult conversation with someone that one of the people that came on and shared about their family, or a friend, like not allowing them to be bullied and having boundaries. Like the amount of boundaries that I have to have with this individual is like, it's really fucking scary for me, right? And so that's a lot, but
So let's take a look at all the vibrational dynamics behind this first. So everything that happens in a reality is there to show us something about us, right? So if this circumstance was orchestrated by source for your empowerment, for your growth, for your expansion, to help you become more of who you really are, if you could look at like source's notes and source's cheat sheet, what do you think it is that source is trying to bring to your awareness?
well, the source has already taken the notes down, Nick. And I say that because I'm a piece of source, and I was like, just like, okay. As soon as you started saying it earlier, I was like, okay, this is what is being asked of me to evolve into, which is having a bit thicker of skin, allowing myself, by saying having thicker skin, meaning not allowing people to get under my skin, right? So I can stay in a space of compassion and love and self-dedication and devotion, and to be able to speak my truth in that way, from that space, even though there's triggers, there's activations, right?
Yeah.
And that came up for me right away, is compassion and understanding of the contrast, and knowing that this is an opportunity for teaching of deeper cultivation of love. And just 20 minutes ago, it's just like someone came on the call. I don't remember exactly who it was. I think it was Susan, but it was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful to be here, just to get to listen and hear people talk and to speak,
Yeah. So these triggers, are you recognizing whether you're feeling these triggers? Do these triggers that this circumstance with this family member are triggering in you, are those triggers that you notice might be popping up elsewhere in your reality?
Oh yeah, yeah, I mean, I can trace back to some of my one of my earliest memories of this experience, and power being taken from me and feeling
Perfect.
powerless.
And is that how this circumstance is making you feel, powerless?
Yeah, it's making me feel like I have to be the fucking boss externally. But what I'm realizing, even just as we communicate about this, is that I need to be the boss internally.
Absolutely. Right?
Oh fuck, dude.
And from that place of internal the internal boss, right?
The internal boss.
Our true power isn't how loudly you can yell at this person. Our true power isn't in your ability to kick the person out of your house. Your true power is finding your internal power, right? With your connection to source, and standing so strongly in that feeling of empowerment that the circumstance organically has to solve itself. Because you cannot experience a disempowering situation if you're standing strongly calibrated to power.
Dude, and you know what that meant to me in the beginning? And it was really amazing because it just started to get to me today, the past couple of days. This has happened a couple of days ago, and it was it started happening on Saturday, when the Central America trip and the catamaran sailboat from Nicaragua to Costa Rica, and all these amazing manifestations started to happen. I was high vibe, and this contrast started to come in, and it was just creator was just you need to fucking face this right now to move into this, and
this you need to face is not that person, it's what you have going on internally.
Yeah, right? It's
so here's what I want you to do. So this person, do you feel like you are powerless to this person? Is that how your human self feels?
See, it's not a thought thing anymore, and my inner power and my inner love and my worthiness and those things have substantially evolved.
Yep.
In the remembrance of who I am, and as I connect to source.
Yeah.
but there's still that this is why I know there's still that there, because that second memory I ever had, I still feel like, because this person doesn't even remember this has happened, right?
Okay.
I still feel like I need to like get an apology or talk to them about it, and I feel like I eventually will, but I'm just like,
So try this. Here's something I want you to do. Close your eyes. Picture that person in front of you as their energetic self. And I just want you to tell them through your mind's eye, just tell them that they don't have any power over you. Just let them know you don't have any power over me. And I may have given you that power in the past when I didn't know any better. But since then, I've grown, I've expanded, I've realized that I'm a powerful creator who's connected to source, and that you have no power over me. And can you let yourself feel that? And as you let them know that they have no power over you, I want you to see them and witness them relaxing and them calming down and even them softening up, almost like they're free as well. Take a nice, easy breath in. And if you want, you can witness yourself giving that version of them a hug, knowing now that you're both free. Take another nice, easy breath in. Good. How do you feel now?
well, I feel a lot more real, that's for sure.
Good.
Man, I fucking love you, brother. Thank you so much.
It's interesting how just a few words and just a little bit of focus and a little bit of acknowledgement of where we're really at creates such deep shifts and deep healing for people. And I want to thank Papi. I love the way you spelled Papi, by the way. That's my favorite way to write Papi.
I know.
And Papi's ability to share his vulnerability on this call is giving other people the permission to do the same. And even though I'm the one that's up here facilitating and doing the teaching, there's so many people on this call who are also allowing themselves to soften up and to feel and to go within in the same way that Papi just did now. So Papi, thank you for bringing your contrast to the call.
Yeah, thank you all for being, because we're all here together and we really are like fifth dimension spirit. There's no separation. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for playing with us, Papi. And thank you for everybody that came and played tonight. With every call, the energy is becoming more and more potent, more and more palpable, more and more delicious. I love playing with you all, and I look forward to playing with a lot of you again tomorrow on our integration call. You guys are amazing, and hope to see you guys again next time. Thank you, Papi. Thank you to all our hot seaters, and ciao for now.